Fong is a very rich, handsome, and very famous fashion designer in the industry. Fong is sitting in a club when Ye Wongi comes there and says to Fong, "How can you marry my stepsister?" Then, as she's about to kiss Fong, Fong turns his face to the side. Then, Ye Wongi forcefully kisses him, and after kissing, she places her thumb on Fong's lips, and he faints. Ye Wongi had applied an anesthetic on her hand. They are both in the bedroom. Ye Wongi is very happy and says, "Thanks, Fong. I had a good time because of you." Fong says, "Me too." Just then, we find out that this was the story of a novel that a girl is reading while sitting in a car, and she thinks, the story has many twists and this is a very good story. Then she thinks, the girl in this story, her name and my name are the same. Just then, another girl gets into the car. That girl is the writer of the novel, and she sees that this girl is reading her novel's story. And then, hiding from the girl, she starts writing her story. The weather was very bad when their car has a huge accident. Ye Wongi looks up to see Feng standing there, who asks her to come out of the car. She then sees that the car is parked in front of a very expensive house. Just then, Feng lifts her up and says to her, "Now that you are going to be a mother, you shouldn't wear these high heels." Hearing this, Ye Wongi is stunned. She thinks, "How can I be a mother? I'm not even married yet." And she looks at a boy and says, "I think I have seen him before." In the house, Ye Wongi's parents are also there. Seeing this, Ye Wongi gets even more confused. Ye Wongi says, "Who are you people? And you haven't kidnapped me, have you? Look, I don't have any money." And saying this, she starts to leave from there, but she can't leave because she is in the novel. And without the writer's say-so, she cannot leave the novel. The stepmother says, "Ever since Lucy found out about their affair, she has locked herself in her room." Ye Wongi says, "Who is Lucy?" To this, her parents tell her, "The pregnancy has affected your mind. You have even forgotten your own sister." Just then, Ye Wongi's stepmother calls her husband by his name, and that's when she realizes that she has entered the novel. She understands that she has entered the story. Then, she picks up her mobile to read the rest of the story. Further on, Feng and Lucy's wedding is about to take place when Feng finds out that all the company's shares are not in Lucy's name, but in Ye Wongi's. Then, just as Ye Wongi's father is about to announce their wedding date to the media, Ye Wongi comes on stage and says into the mic, "Feng is going to be a father. He cannot get married." Everyone is shocked, and Ye Wongi thinks Feng must be upset about this too. But Feng smiles and says, "Okay, that's fine. I will take full responsibility for my baby," and announces, "I will not marry Lucy, but Ye Wongi." After reading the story, Ye Wongi understands why everyone thinks she is pregnant. On the pretext of her parents leaving, Ye Wongi tries to explain to Feng. She says, "I am not pregnant, nor do I want to marry you, and I am not a part of this novel." Feng calmly walks away down a path that Ye Wongi cannot take. Ye Wongi tries to leave but is unable to. Then she thinks, maybe there is a secret door for me. And as she tries to leave, she faints right there. In one scene, we see Ye Wongi open her eyes and say, "It can't be that I'm pregnant. I don't even have a boyfriend." Ye Wongi's assistant comes, and she asks him to bring a pregnancy test. From Feng and his assistant's conversation, we find out that Feng is only interested in money. He asks his assistant, "What kind of guys does Ye Wongi like?" The assistant tells him, "Muscular ones." So, Feng wears a fake muscular body to meet Ye Wongi. On the other hand, we see Ye Wongi's stepmother scolding her daughter Lucy. "You couldn't even win over one guy." Lucy says, "I'm not like you, who trapped Ye Wongi's father and married him. I want to build my career first." And she leaves. Ye Wongi's stepmother places her pregnancy test in the bathroom because they have been waiting for a son in this house for many years. When Ye Wongi goes to the bathroom, she leaves her pregnancy test there and by mistake picks up her stepmother's pregnancy test and sees the report is positive. Ye Wongi gets worried and runs away from there. When her mother comes to the bathroom, she sees the pregnancy test. The result is negative, and she gets worried. In the next scene, we see that Ye Wongi, after learning about the pregnancy, tries to run away from there but cannot escape the house. Then she sees her stepsister Lucy, who looks exactly like the writer of the novel who sat in her car in the rain. Ye Wongi is very happy to see her and thinks, at least there is someone from the real world, and tells her everything. Ye Wongi gives Lucy a file, and that file turns into Ye Wongi's pregnancy report. Lucy says to her, "You are pregnant. Being pregnant before marriage is not something to be proud of." Just then, Feng arrives and says, "Being the mother of my child is indeed a matter of pride." Feng starts to show off his muscular body, and seeing this, both sisters are surprised. As Lucy starts to leave, Feng follows her and talks about business. Then Feng picks up Ye Wongi and brings her to the car to get some fresh air, which is good for the baby. The three of them go in the car, and Ye Wongi thinks, This is the same scene as that day, but nothing like that is happening today. Just then, she sees a wall. She thinks, this could be it. This might take me to the real world. Yewangi thinks, if the wall is real, I will pass through it. And she grabs Fing and pushes him hard so that if it isn't real, Fong will go in first. When Yewangi pushes Fing, his nose gets hurt very badly. In the next scene, we see Fing is angry but thinks, well, I have to endure all this for the sake of money. Yewangi tries her best to get out of there somehow. Just then, Fing comes, and seeing him, Yewangi starts to leave but can't. Yewangi becomes clumsy and falls on top of Feng. Feng says, see, you can't live without me. He then shows his body and says to her, you couldn't resist seeing my body. To which Yewangi says, this is a fake body. At this, Feng takes off his fake body and says, my real body is also very good, but Yewangi can't see it. Just then, Yewangi's grandfather arrives, and Feng picks up his clothes and runs away. Yewangi's grandfather brings a doctor who, after checking, says, Yewangi is not pregnant. Everyone is surprised and Yewangi is very happy. At this, Yewangi's stepmother says, since she is not pregnant, why not get Feng married to Lucy? The grandfather refuses and says, Yewangi and Feng will get married because they like each other, and also says, from now on, Yewangi will have more shares in the company. Yewangi becomes very happy. After the grandfather leaves, Feng goes to Yewangi and asks, so, what if you're not pregnant? I will still marry you. But Yewangi doesn't want to marry Feng. Yewangi says, now I am not pregnant and I am rich, so I will not marry you. Hearing this, Feng is shocked and says, how can you do this? You used to like me before. But Yewangi doesn't listen to a word he says. Her parents ask Lucy, do you want to marry Feng? To which Lucy says, I don't want to marry him. I want to focus on my career. And she leaves. It gets very late, so Yewangi's mother asks Feng to leave as well. Feng comes out angrily and says, this is the first time two girls have rejected me. I will definitely come back and take revenge for this. Yewangi is very happy, thinking, I have become very rich now. She wants to go back to her real home. She thinks, when the hero and heroine get together, the story ends. I'll have to go back to the house again to get Lucy and Feng together. In the next scene, Feng is standing outside Yewangi's house with his secretary. He says, I have to win Yewangi over somehow. Otherwise, if the media finds out that two girls rejected me, my reputation will be ruined. On the other side, Yewangi is worried, thinking, how do I bring Lucy and Feng together? Just then, she feels a sharp pain in her stomach and is about to fall near the pool. Yewangi's assistant thinks that Yewangi is about to fall into the pool, so in an attempt to save Yewangi, the assistant himself falls into the water, and Feng's assistant saves him. Then, as Yewangi is about to go to the washroom, Feng stops her. He wants to talk, but Yewangi says, please don't stop me, let me go. But Feng doesn't let her go, and something happens right there. Seeing this, Feng is in a very bad state and faints in the swimming pool. In the next scene, we see Feng in Yewangi's room, checking all her things. Just then, he finds a file in which it is written that Yewangi's father is throwing a party to celebrate Yewangi receiving the shares, to which Feng is not invited. Feng feels bad about this. Just then, Yewangi enters the room and asks Feng to leave, but Feng says, what's happened to you? First, you were dying to marry me, but now you don't want to marry me. To which Yewangi says, whatever happened between us was in the past. There's nothing like that now. You go to your heroine, Lucy. If you don't go to her, I won't be able to go back to my world. Just then, Yewangi's stepmother comes there to take Feng to meet Lucy, but Feng hides with Yewangi and also tells her, you don't say anything either. Feng comes out and says to his assistant, I have to get into Yewangi's party somehow. In this regard, he meets Lucy and makes a deal with her. He says, you take me to the party, and I will help you with your business. Hearing this, Lucy agrees. Just then, we see that the media is outside, whom Yewangi had called so that, even if for the wrong reasons, the world would know about Lucy and Feng's love story. Just as Lucy starts to leave, Feng also follows her out. At this, Yewangi says to Feng, have you gone mad? You should drop Lucy home. You are a terrible hero. Feng gives Yewangi a rose and leaves. Yewangi follows him and says, Lucy is your heroine. You should forget about me. But Feng does not agree to this and, showing a VIP pass, starts to go inside the bar. Without a bodyguard and a pass, they don't let Yewangi inside the bar because the bar belongs to Feng. And Feng smiles seeing this. Worried, Yewangi is about to leave when an unknown person makes her unconscious and takes her with him. After entering the bar, Feng worries about Yewangi. He comes out and asks the guard about Yewangi, and they tell him a boy took her aside to talk. On the other side, that boy takes Yewangi to a place where he and his mother are. From their conversation, it seems that someone has told them to kill Yewangi. They throw Yewangi into the water. On the other side, when Yewangi opens her eyes, she is completely safe in her room. Just then, her assistant tells her, "Mr. Fong brought you here." That is, Fong, while searching for Yewangi, reaches there and sees Yewangi's shoes. Then he jumps into the water and saves Yewangi's life. Yewangi thinks, "What kind of hero is Fong? He belongs to my sister, but he saves me." Then she thinks, "It's possible that he is my hero. My sister Lucy's hero may not have even entered the novel yet. Okay, now I will stay with Fong because he has a lot of bodyguards. This way, my sister Lucy will be safe from that sharp Fong, and she will get a much better hero, because if she doesn't get a much better hero, the novel won't have a happy ending. And if the novel doesn't have a happy ending, I won't be able to go home." In the next scene, Lucy and Yewangi are both at the shopping mall. Someone swaps their shopping bag with Lucy's and runs away. Yewangi runs after the thief, and seeing Yewangi running, another character also runs after her. After a lot of running, when Yewangi catches the thief, suddenly many of the thief's accomplices also appear with knives. Yewangi has a big fight with them. Then, as Lucy tries to get her document back from these thieves, they push her hard, and Lucy falls on the same person who had followed Yewangi to the thieves. He pushes one of the thieves hard into a dustbin and gently catches Lucy. His name is Cheng. Seeing him, Yewangi understands that he is Lucy's hero. Then they all appear in Yewangi's father's company because Yewangi's father had called Cheng for business purposes, and Yewangi's father wants Yewangi to marry Cheng, not Feng. But when Yewangi's stepmother finds out about Cheng's business background, she wants Lucy to marry Cheng, not Yewangi. That's when she introduces Lucy. In the next scene, there is a party where Yewangi was supposed to be given the shares. Yewangi sees her stepmother meeting the same boy who had kidnapped her, and she thinks, "This means my stepmother wants to have me killed." Just then, Yewangi is called to the stage. On the other side, Fing also arrives with a ring and thinks, "Today, I will propose to Yewangi in front of everyone, and she won't be able to refuse." Just then, Yewangi comes on stage and speaks in front of everyone. "I want to tell you all that I am not that rich because all the shares I had, I have spent them on some poor people, some needy people, and some on animal care. So please stop kidnapping or hurting me thinking I'm rich." Hearing this, Feng starts to leave, thinking, "Why should I marry her? She has nothing." But just then, Yewangi drags Feng onto the stage with her. She says to Feng, "Propose to me. Put the ring on my finger." Just then, Feng's assistant tells him all her shares are on installment and she has already spent some. Then everyone starts to cheer for them. Finally, Feng is forced to create a marriage certificate. Now, officially, they are husband and wife. Coming home, Feng is very worried and says, "There's no benefit for me in marrying her. Instead, she has become my problem. I can't even get a second marriage." On the other hand, Yewangi is very happy and says, "This is a very big house and now I will live here." Feng asks her, "Why do you want to live here?" Yewangi says, "Because the audience wants it." Feng comes close to her and says, "All right." Then Yewangi says, "We should make a contract that we will not come close to each other and not interfere in each other's lives." Yewangi forcibly gets the stamp affixed. Feng tells Yewangi to stay in the guest room, but Yewangi likes Feng's room and says to Feng, "If my father finds out that you told his delicate daughter to stay in the guest room, your business terms could be ruined." Reluctantly, Feng has to give her that room. In the next scene, Yewangi's assistant also comes to stay at Feng's house, saying, "Wherever my mistress stays, I will stay there too." Feng does not allow him to enter his house. Just then, Feng's assistant says, "It's okay, sir. Let him come. He can stay in my room." So Feng allows him to enter the house. When Yewangi asks Feng, "Why weren't you letting my assistant in?" Feng says, "I have let you stay in my house. That's enough. Don't try to be too over-smart with me." On the other hand, Feng's assistant was very annoyed with Yewangi's assistant because he snored while sleeping. Over here, Feng was also very annoyed with Yewangi because she would kick and punch in her sleep. Once, she even bit Feng. Due to all these antics, Feng leaves the room. Over here, Yewangi wakes up and sees water and some medicine on the side table. She picks it up and thinks, "Feng wanted to take these medicines and do something wrong with me." She immediately gets up and locks the room because she had to keep herself safe at any cost. Yewangi was now awake and couldn't sleep, so she went to the kitchen and started making tasty noodles for herself. The aroma of the noodles brought Feng there as well, and he asks, "Can you make some for me too?" To which Yewangi says, "No, I only make them for myself." Hearing this, Feng gets angry. Then Feng prepares a contract and gives it to Yewangi, saying, "Since you are not fulfilling any duties as a wife, you will have to pay rent for staying here and for your food and drink expenses." Yewangi says, "How can you do this?" Feng tells her, "Go back home." Yewangi says, "I can't go back home." Then she says to Feng, "Okay, I accept your condition, but as a wife, can I get some discount?" Feng refuses. Yewangi looks at him angrily, then controls her anger and asks him, "Dear husband, shall I make tasty noodles for you?" Fong refuses. In the next scene, Ye Wangi checks her balance, which is 0. She asks her assistant, when will I get the remaining installments of my shares? The assistant says, after 3 months. A plan comes to Ye Wangi's mind. She, along with her assistant, starts cleaning the entire house. She also cooked a tasty meal for Fong, but Fang thinks, what if there is poison mixed in it? So he also forbids his assistant from eating the food. Just then, Ye Wangi brings noodles that she had made for herself. Fang asks for those noodles in the hope that there is no poison in them because she made these for herself. Just then, Ye Wangi brings music there. Fang thinks, first we didn't die from her food, so now will she kill us with her tuneless music? Fang's assistant was also annoyed with the music. Just then, Fang silences Ye Wangi. Ye Wangi asks, what happened? Is dinner over? Then she starts asking Feng for the money for the dinner she made and for cleaning the whole house. Feng says, I didn't ask you to do all this. I have servants in my house to do all this work. You will not get any money. If you want me to waive 1 month's rent for you, then you will have to take me to your sister Lucy's birthday party. Ye Wangi immediately agrees. The next day is Lucy's birthday party, to which many big businessmen have come. Feng talks nicely to all of them, but when he makes a gesture towards Lucy, Ye Wangi doesn't like it. She thinks, Feng wants to ruin my sister's love story, and she stands a little away from Feng. Feng asks her to cooperate, so she gets close again. Just then, Chung arrives and wishes Lucy a happy birthday. Ye Wangi then thinks, he is so handsome, perfect for the lead role. And then, just as Chung extends his hand to shake hands with Ye Wangi, Feng shakes hands with Ching and says, I am her husband. Ye Wangi explains to Lucy that Chung is a very good boy. Lucy thinks, what has happened to her? Before, she didn't even consider me her sister. She even snatched Feng from me. Ye Wangi says, look, whatever happened in the past was my different personality. Now, I am a different personality. Just then, Lucy's friends arrive, so Ye Wangi leaves from there. Then, everyone started to wish Lucy a happy birthday and were about to drink. Just then, Lucy's friend, to teach Ye Wangi a lesson, mixes something in her drink. After drinking it, Ye Wangi feels very strange and leaves from there. Lucy's friend sends a drunkard boy after her, saying, maybe that girl needs you. When he follows her, Ye Wangi is completely unconscious on a sofa. Just then, Lucy's friend, after clicking some pictures, locks them in a room. On the other side, Feng was looking for Ye Wangi. Just then, Lucy's friend says to Feng, I saw your wife going into a room with a boy. Feng is shocked and goes towards the room. He breaks the door of the room and goes inside, then grabs the collar of the boy sitting next to Ye Wangi. Everyone gathers there. In the next scene, Feng lets the boy go because he is his cousin, who had drunk a lot. His cousin says, bro, it's not what you're thinking. But Feng doesn't listen to anything and carries Ye Wangi away. When they are both sitting in the car, Feng scolds Ye Wangi. When you can't handle yourself, why do you drink? To which Ye Wangi says, I'm sure something was mixed in that drink, and that boy wasn't saying anything to me. In fact, he was covering my legs with his shirt. Hearing this, Feng thinks for a moment. Then, Ye Wangi feels like vomiting, and Feng takes full care of her. Then, when they both return, Ye Wangi's assistant, seeing her condition, says a lot to Feng and takes Ye Wangi away from there. Feng now comes to his room. Feng notes all of Ye Wangi's behavior and thinks her behavior has become very good. She has changed from before. But why am I thinking about her? Have I fallen in love with her? No. She is just a pawn for me to set up my family business. I must not fall in love with her. Feng then warms up some milk for Ye Wangi and gives it to her assistant. In the next scene, Ye Wangi falls into the pool and hurts her back. Feng comes to help her, and he also falls into the pool. Then he lifts Ye Wangi in his arms. For the first time, Ye Wangi is attracted to Feng and thinks, he is so handsome. Feng goes to the room and throws Ye Wangi on the bed, which makes Ye Wangi very angry. Ye Wangi's grandfather comes to their house to meet her. He sees that Ye Wangi is weaker than before, so he asks, doesn't Feng take care of you? Ye Wangi says, he doesn't take care of me at all. He tortures me and asks for money for rent and food. The grandfather hits Feng with a test and says, if you needed money, you could have asked me. Why did you bother my delicate daughter? Feng says, it's not like that. The grandfather chases him away from there. After everyone leaves, he shows an important file to Ye Wangi and tells her, your mother's death was not natural. Rather, someone murdered her. Ye Wangi is very surprised. The grandfather tells Ye Wangi the names of 2 people and says, get information on these 2 people because they both worked with her just before her death. Ye Wangi agrees to get information on these 2 people. By the way, one person's name was Hickson and the other's name was Mr. Hao. Ye Wangi then prepares food and asks Feng and his assistant to eat, but they both both call the food bad and don't eat it. Just then, Ye Wangi's assistant also comes there, and Ye Wangi tells him, these two are not eating and are calling the food bad. Ye Wangi's assistant eats and says, the food is very good. Then Ye Wangi eats it herself, and the food is quite bad. So this means that Ye Wangi's assistant was saying it just to make her feel better. In the next scene, Ye Wangi was thinking about Mr. Jackson and Mr. how to meet them. Just then, she gets a call from Chung. Hearing this, Fong secretly starts listening to their conversation. By the way, Chung asks Ye Wangi to go to a party with him, which is being hosted by Mr. Hao. Hearing this, Ye Wangi thinks, is this the same Mr. Hao that Grandpa told me about? Then, Ye Wangi agrees to go to the party. Fong comes inside angrily because he had also bought 2 tickets to go to the party with Ye Wangi. He tears both those tickets right there. Ye Wangi asks, what happened? Are you jealous? Even if you are, what does it matter to me? And then she leaves from there. Ye Wangi's grandpa calls Fing and orders him, you must go to tonight's party and that too with Ye Wangi. Then Fing had to tape the tickets back together. At night, when Ye Wangi gets ready for the party, she goes with Chung. Fing had come to pick her up, but still, she didn't go with him. Ye Wangi meets a new girl named Yin, whom Ye Wangi doesn't recognize. Just then, the girl says, I went abroad for some time and you forgot your own friend? Just then, Ye Wangi remembers that this is her best friend in the novel world. Then they both come inside, and Ye Wangi sees Mr. Hao for the first time, who is talking about a painting. Feng was also there, but Ye Wangi ignores him and goes to Mr. Hao. Mr. Hao also talks to her nicely. Just then, an announcement is made that Ye Wangi will tell everyone about the painting, which shocks Ye Wangi because she knows nothing about painting. Lucy is also surprised and says to her, how can you forget this painting? This was your mom's most memorable painting, which also surprises Ye Wangi. Yin tells her she has important work and leaves. Then, when Ye Wangi goes to eat sweets, Feng comes there and says, do you really not know anything about your mom's painting? To which Ye Wangi says, what's it to you? You're talking as if you know the most. Feng says, this painting belongs to your mother, and at that time, it was very expensive, which your mom gave to Mr. Hao because at that time, Mr. Hao needed this painting very much. To which Ye Wangi says, wow, you are a very useful person. You have information on everyone. So, this sweet is for you as an apology. Over here, Mr. Hao again gathers people and talks about his business and tells them, all of you invest and you will get an annual profit. People also fall for his words and start taking checks. Just then, Ye Wangi says, this is a risk for you all. Don't invest with him. So the people disperse, which makes Mr. Hao very angry, and he says to Ye Wangi, you are also very sharp like your mother at such a young age. Ye Wangi replies, this is nothing yet. Just wait and see what happens next, which makes Mr. Hao very angry, and he tells his men to do something bad to Ye Wangi. Seeing the men planning, Feng was watching and understood that they wanted to harm Ye Wangi. In the next scene, Mr. Hao's men drop a light on Ye Wangi, from which Feng comes and saves her, but the light does not harm Feng at all. Just then, he says to Ye Wangi, it's not safe for us to stay here anymore. You go, I'm coming. Just as she goes outside, Mr. Hao's goons kidnap her. When the goons take Ye Wangi out of the car and are just about to take advantage of her, Feng arrives there and somehow takes Ye Wangi away from there. There, Ye Wangi thinks, why is he so worried about me that he risked his life for me today? Has he started to like me? But Feng says nothing because he has completely fallen in love with Ye Wangi. And being close to her, Feng was getting feelings. Coming home, Feng sees Ye Wangi working and thinks that Ye Wangi is about to kiss him. But in reality, nothing of the sort happens. In the next scene, Ye Wangi reads the novel and thinks, this novel has everything that is happening to me. And then she says, why are all the paragraphs about Feng? In the real world, the hero is Cheng, but Feng is doing all the heroic things, so now the hero of the novel will be Feng, and I have married the wrong person. Ye Wangi starts showing off to Feng, showing her body so that Feng will come close to her, but he doesn't. Ye Wangi says to Feng, look at my leg, it's hurt, but Feng doesn't look, and her plan fails. She starts talking on the phone and pretends as if she is talking to a boyfriend, but Feng gets up and leaves, which makes Ye Wangi angry, and she has a drink. Then she says to Feng, why don't you notice me? To which Feng says, it's your life. Do whatever you want. What's it to me? At this, Ye Wangi falls on him, gets emotional, and says, I want to bring you and Lucy close, and then she faints. Feng checks her mobile, in which there is no call record, from which he understands that Ye Wangi was just acting. She wasn't talking to anyone, and he smiles. When Feng is busy with his work, his assistant gives him news. Boss, Ye Wangi's father has terminated the production line with our company. Hearing this, Feng gives no reaction at that moment, but sits down at night and starts thinking, how can they do this to us? And Feng started to get very angry. There, a man was saying, it's a good thing there's a rift between the father-in-law and son-in-law. Now we will get a good profit. Who this man was is not revealed yet. When Feng has to go to an important important meeting, he is on a call. Just then, Ye Wangi comes and says, "Please, can I also come with you?" But Feng flatly refuses, and Ye Wangi sits outside sadly. Then her assistant comes, and Ye Wangi says, "I have no one. My parents don't live with me either. Is the life of rich people this bad? My sister also hates me. I have no one." To which the assistant says, "I am always with you. Whenever you need me, I will always be there for you." At this, Ye Wangi smiles and becomes happy. Feng was listening to all this, and then quietly leaves from there. When he gets in the car, his assistant asks, "Sir, why didn't you bring Ye Wangi with you?" To which Feng says, "Because with her, I can't focus on business. I forget my main aim. So first, I have to advance my family business. As much as possible, I have to stay away from Ye Wangi." Just then, the weather starts to get bad, the same weather as when Ye Wangi entered the novel world. Their car also got a strong jolt, and then the real world was shown, where we are shown that after the accident, Ye Wangi had not regained consciousness but was lost in her own brain world. Her head has many machines set up. Just then, we are shown the Feng of the real world, who is actually Ye Wangi's boyfriend. But after going into the novel world, she has forgotten her real boyfriend, i.e. Feng. That's why when she first saw Feng's face, it looked very familiar to her. It looked like that because Ye Wangi had a picture of the real Feng in her mind. So in the novel too, she started seeing her boyfriend's face. If Ye Wangi doesn't regain consciousness, her life is in danger. That's why her real boyfriend, i.e. Feng, is entering her mind. We see Feng in the novel world, i.e. Ye Wangi's brain, getting out of the car and immediately running to meet Ye Wangi because the weather is very bad. And he immediately goes and hugs Ye Wangi, saying, "Finally, I have come to you," and then kisses Ye Wangi on the forehead. Due to fear, Ye Wangi gets a high fever, and Feng takes great care of her. Ye Wangi says, "You went for an important meeting." Feng says nothing and tells her, "Sleep." When Ye Wangi falls asleep, Feng says, "You'll see, one day you will remember everything." Feng takes off the many rings he is wearing on his hand and also changes his hairstyle. Then, when he is in the bathroom with Ye Wangi, something happens to him. A little later, he immediately becomes fine. Feng looks at the locket he's wearing around his neck, which was given to him before coming here, and he was told, "If you feel any danger, go offline." The next day, Feng prepares breakfast for Ye Wangi, seeing which Ye Wangi is very surprised and thinks, "How does he know that I like all these things?" Feng says, "Forget this. I even know that you look good without glasses too." Hearing this, Ye Wangi is even more surprised. How does he know that I used to wear glasses before? Just then, Ye Wangi comes to her room and thinks about all these things. Then Feng comes there and gives her the brooch that her grandfather had given her for her birthday. Feng tells her that it also has a voice recording system inside. Ye Wangi thinks, "I was wearing this on the day I was kidnapped too." She is satisfied after listening to the recording and finds out that her stepmother was behind her kidnapping. Ye Wangi takes the voice recorder to her home and plays it in front of her father and asks her stepmother, "Why do you want to kill me?" To this, her stepmother starts to deny it. Just then, Ye Wangi says, "If you don't admit it like this, then okay, I will call the police." At this, she starts crying and says, "I am pregnant and I am going to give an heir to this house. You people are treating me like this." Hearing this, Ye Wangi's dad is very happy and says to Ye Wangi, "Daughter, it is not right to send them to jail at this time. It is possible that you have made a mistake, and I will have it investigated properly," and takes his wife and leaves from there. Coming out of the house, Ye Wangi is very angry and says, "Dad has always wanted a son, that's why that woman was saved." Feng hugs her and calms her down. Ye Wangi is surprised and moves a little away from him. After this, Feng, Ye Wangi, and Feng's cousin go to a summer camp. They enjoy a lot there. Next, we see Ye Wangi's stepmother with another person who is her boyfriend. She says to him, "Don't you worry. I will soon remove Ye Wangi, her father and grandfather from the way, and then all the wealth will be ours, and we will live in luxury." Hearing this, that person becomes happy. Ye Wangi's stepmother's motive is to kill Ye Wangi and her father, and she says, by tomorrow, both of them have to be removed from the way. And the next day, they start their plan. That is, when Ye Wangi is with her friends, she gets a call that her grandfather's health is not well, and he is very serious. But when she arrives, her grandfather is completely fine. Ye Wangi hugs her grandfather, talks for a while, and then leaves. But as soon as she leaves, her grandfather feels a lot of pain. Her stepmother talks to someone on the phone and says, "This old man was saved, but Ye Wangi should not be spared." Feng calls Ye Wangi and asks, "Where are you?" She tells him the name of the road. "We are on this road." When Feng hears this, he thinks, this is the same road where Ye Wangi had her accident. He dials the call again, but just then, Ye Wangi's mobile signal is lost, and the call doesn't connect. In the next scene, Feng's assistant stops Ye Wangi's car, and as soon as they get out of the car, there is something on the road that could have caused a very bad accident to Ye Wangi's car. Just then, Ye Wangi's assistant sends Ye Wangi with Feng's assistant, and himself looks at the things lying on the road. When Ye Wangi sits in the car, she asks Feng's assistant, "How did you know that we are here?" He tells her, "The boss sent me to save you." Ye Wangi thinks, "How did Feng know that I was going to have an accident today?" In the next scene, Feng's health also deteriorates because he had made a change in the novel. When Feng opens his eyes, a doctor is standing in front of him who says, "I told you not to make changes. If this condition continues, you could even die. Don't you understand this?" Feng says, "Someone wants to kill Ye Wangi. How can I stay silent?" To which she says, "You have ruined the whole story." Then, Ye Wangi comes to meet Feng, they talk a little, and then she goes to buy fruit. When Feng comes out, the same nurse gives Feng medicine and leaves, but this time Ye Wangi sees her leaving. In the next scene, Feng brings Ye Wangi to a very beautiful, decorated place and proposes to her, but she thinks, "I have to bring Feng and Lucy together." Feng tells her that he likes her, so Ye Wangi also falls in love and can't stop herself, and they both kiss each other. Then Ye Wangi gets a call that her grandfather's health is not well. She immediately goes to the hospital and prays. Then her grandfather regains consciousness, calls Feng and Ye Wangi, and says to Feng, "I've heard your company is about to go down." Feng says nothing. The grandfather tells them, "I have arranged a very good reward for Ye Wangi," and her stepmother overhears and is surprised. "What kind of reward is that?" To which Ye Wangi says to her grandfather, "I don't need any reward. You just get well soon." Just then, Ye Wangi's assistant takes her aside and says, "Grandfather's health is not good at all." And then, as soon as Ye Wangi goes back inside, her grandfather passes away. Seeing this, Ye Wangi cries very loudly. In the next scene, Ye Wangi is very upset about her grandfather's death. Feng consoles her and says, "Everything will be all right." Ye Wangi says, "Nothing will be all right. Nothing is going right with me in the real world. Something wrong is happening to me, because whatever the writer wants is happening." Seeing and hearing this, Feng gets very emotional and tells her the whole truth. "I am also from the real world, just like you." Then, Ye Wangi becomes very happy and asks him, "Are you really from the real world?" To which Feng says, "Yes, absolutely. Now we will complete the novel story together and go back to our real world." On the other side, Ye Wangi's stepmother tries to convince her father and tells him Ye Wangi is going to work in her grandfather's company. "Why don't we also send Lucy there for a job?" Just then, Lucy comes there and says, "No, Mama, I will work somewhere else," and leaves from there. When the news of Feng's company comes in the media, all the employees come to talk to Feng. They are very angry and talk about terminating the contract. Feng calmly signs the papers they brought with them. Just then, Chung enters, from which it is revealed that Feng did it on purpose so that he could find out who the traitor in the company is. Then everyone leaves from there, and Feng's partner becomes Chung. Then Ye Wangi says, "Wow, you are very intelligent." Feng's health starts to deteriorate again because he had made a change in the novel. He secretly takes the medicine from Ye Wangi that the doctor had given him. After coming home, Feng falls into a deep sleep. Ye Wangi thinks, why hasn't he woken up yet? Because in the real world, his treatment is going on, where he is warned not to repeatedly make changes in the novel. Then, when Feng opens his eyes, Ye Wangi is with him, so he starts to kiss her. Just then, both of their assistants enter the room, seeing whom Ye Wangi climbs on Feng's leg, due to which the next day, Feng is in a wheelchair. Ye Wangi apologizes to Feng for the injury she caused him, and asks him, "Where are you from in the real world?" He tells her the address, but according to the novel, Ye Wangi cannot hear the address and tells him, "You write it down for me. I can't see it right now." Because according to the novel's rules, they both cannot know each other's personal information. The next day, Ye Wangi goes to her grandfather's company, and all the people there respect her a lot, but she refuses them because she is their junior. There, the company's director-manager is Mr. Go, who is having an affair with Ye Wangi's stepmother. He meets Ye Wangi very nicely and doesn't give her any work because he doesn't want Ye Wangi to take over the company and come here every day. Other people also consider Ye Wangi a novice, but in the real world, Ye Wangi knows how to run a company very well. So she comes to Mr. Go and asks for a project, but Mr. Go refuses to give her the project, and Ye Wangi tells him, "Okay, if you don't give me a project, I will do the servant's work," and starts cleaning the place, and deliberately throws water on Mr. Go, so reluctantly Mr. Go has to give her the project. In the next scene, Ye Wangi starts working very hard, and gives energy drinks to all the employees, which makes them think that Ye Wangi is quite nice. Then she goes shopping with Feng, and sees Mr. Go with her stepmother. They are both very surprised and start making a video of them. As they leave from there, Yewangi sees that the camera was not even on. The next day, Mr. Go calls Yewangi to his office and tells her, "You and your sister Lucy are being given the rich girl and fake rich girl task, which will also be shown on TV, which will benefit our company a lot." Hearing this, Yewangi agrees and starts the shooting the very next day. Yewangi overdoes it a bit, in which everything seemed fake. On the other hand, Lucy acts normally, as she is in her normal life, and shows everything that she is in reality, her hard work. And when her last shoot was left, she takes her cameraman to a secret place and tells her audience, "I met a friend here when I got lost in my childhood. He helped me find my parents, and he also gave me a whistle, which I still have. I want to meet him again." After the shooting is over, when Yewangi goes to Lucy and sees her video, she finds her own video completely useless. Lucy's video was perfect because it wasn't fake. As soon as Lucy goes to get coffee, Yewangi is watching the video from her laptop and finds a recording of her stepmother and Mr. Go's affair, which she is transferring to her pen drive. Just then, Lucy comes from upstairs and sees her doing this. Yewangi says to her, "Our stepmother is doing all this. Don't you think this is wrong?" To which Lucy says, "Absolutely, this is wrong, and I was about to tell Dad about this." And then she does just that. She tells her dad the whole truth. Just then, Yewangi's stepmother comes and starts talking lovingly to Yewangi's father. Just then, he pushes her away from him and says, "You are just acting with me. You are cheating on me. You are having an affair with Mr. Go." To which she denies and says, "It's nothing like that. Someone must have given you false news. Yewangi must have told you." To which Yewangi says, "I didn't tell him." Then she says, "Fong must have said it." Feng also denies it. Then Lucy says, "I told him everything." She angrily slaps Lucy. Just then, Yewangi's dad says to her, "Get out of here." She starts crying. She says, "I am going to be a mother." Just then, he forcibly drags Mr. Goth there as well and says to them, "This child belongs to both of you," and starts hitting them with a belt. Lucy grabs it and says, "Dad, Mama's pregnant. First, let's get a test done. We will find out whose child this is." Just then, Yewangi is happy and thinks, "Stepmother's truth has also come out. This means I am very close to the ending." After this, all the house servants are talking. Finally, Lucy's mother's truth has come out in front of her father. Is Lucy even their real daughter or not? Hearing all this, Lucy is very sad. Over here, Chung is watching Lucy's video in which she is talking about the secret place, and he is very surprised to see it because that boy was none other than Cheng, who had helped Lucy in her childhood. In the next scene, Yewangi is searching for information about Mr. Jackson when Mr. Jackson himself arrives because he has found out that he is being searched for. He tells Yewangi, "Your mother was a very good friend of mine, and I am also searching for how she was murdered. I have some of her shares, which you should get now." He gives her a file, which she signs after reading. In the next scene, Lucy is at a party where Chung also comes. Lucy is about to fall. Chung catches her and looks at her very closely. Seeing this, people start talking. "Look, like mother, like daughter." Hearing this, Lucy becomes very sad. But Yewangi scolds those people well and says, "Who are you people to talk about my sister?" and shoos them away from there. All of Lucy's confidence is gone because people's perspective about her had changed. She quietly picks up her file and starts to leave, but before leaving, she thanks Yewangi. Then she comes outside and her dress is bothering her, which she angrily tears. Seeing this, Chung comes to her and says, "You are very hot-tempered," and takes her with him. He takes her to the same place where they had met in childhood. Lucy says, "You have brought me here to make fun of me. You must have seen that video." To which Chung puts a coat on her, just like he had put on her in childhood, and says the same lines that he had said to her in childhood. Hearing this, Lucy says, "You are the one who helped me find my parents?" Chung says, "Yes, absolutely, it's me." Then he proposes to her right there and says, "Just like I helped you find your parents in childhood, will you walk with me like this for the rest of your life?" To which Lucy agrees, and they were very happy to be with each other. Over here, Yewangi is bossing Fong around. Just then, she sees that another chapter has been added to the novel, whose name was Marriage Proposal. She thinks Feng will definitely propose to Lucy officially now. Lucy will say yes, and then it will be a happy ending. That means tomorrow's chapter is the last chapter of the novel. Then she says to Feng, "We are in this novel until tomorrow. Why don't we go on a date?" So Feng also agrees. They both go on a date where Feng gets her a locket. In the next scene, there is an event organized by Lucy, and the bridal collection being shown in it is all Feng's. That is, all those dresses were designed by Feng. Then Feng takes Yewangi to a special dress and tells her, "This is the most special dress of our event, which the model was supposed to wear at the end. But now this dress size is small, and the model can't wear it. Can you wear this and come?" But as soon as Yewangi comes wearing the dress, Feng proposes to her in front of everyone, to which she says to him, "What are you doing? Today, the hero is supposed to be with the heroine. You are ruining the whole story. But Fong says the writer also wants it this way and that marriage proposal chapter was added for us, not for Lucy and Cheng. But Ye Wangyi didn't believe it. On the other side, the writer, according to the story, is trying to make her say yes. But when she doesn't say yes, they stop writing the story and she says no to Feng and faints right there. Ye Wangyi said no to the writer and got stuck between the real world and the novel world, where she could see all the stories of the novel written, but she couldn't go back to the novel world. On the other side, the original Ye Wangyi, who was the main character of the novel, when she opens her eyes, Feng is with her. Seeing this, she becomes very happy because before, Feng used to run away from her, so she starts to love Feng. Feng asks her, "Are you okay? Sorry, I tortured you a bit too much yesterday." But the original Ye Wangyi couldn't understand anything. Then Feng goes to call the doctor. So Ye Wangyi says to the nurse, "Bring me all my sexy dresses," to which the nurse refuses, at which she starts shouting and screaming, "Don't you understand what I'm saying? Don't you understand what I'm asking you for? And this food, this is really bad. Take it away from here right now." But as soon as Feng starts to come inside, Ye Wangyi starts eating that food. Seeing her behavior, the nurse is also surprised. Then, Ye Wangyi comes to the mall and throws away the necklace given by Feng and says, "I want a new necklace." Her behavior also surprises Feng. When she comes to her father's house, her father asks, "Didn't Feng come?" She is surprised and says, "Does Feng also come here with me?" The father tells her, "No, you don't live here anymore, but with Feng, and you come here to meet me with him." Hearing this, she is very surprised. And then, as soon as she comes to her room, all her dresses and makeup are also changed. She is surprised to see all this and asks her assistant, "What is all this happening? How has my behavior been for the past few months? Actually, I have lost my memory and want to know how Feng started to like me." Then the assistant told her everything that had happened with the Ye Wangyi from the real world, how she started behaving cutely, wearing light-colored dresses, and much more. Hearing all this, she understands that she was some other girl who was living in my house as me and was trying to steal my Feng from me. I will not let anything like that happen because now I am back. In the next scene, the novel world's Ye Wangyi develops herself into the real world's Ye Wangyi. Seeing this, the real world's Ye Wangyi was very angry. How can she copy my getup and behavior? Then, as soon as she comes to sleep with Feng, her behavior also seemed a bit strange to Feng because she was getting very close to him. Just then, Feng makes an excuse of work and leaves from there because the novel's Ye Wangyi was teasing him. Feng was very tired of her antics. Just then, Ye Wangyi says to him, "Propose to me again. Marry me. I will even transfer all my shares to your name." So Feng thinks, this is not my Ye Wangyi because my Ye Wangyi had distributed all her shares among the poor. He somehow manages to send the novel's Ye Wangyi away from there. Then he comes towards the water and starts calling out Ye Wangyi's name loudly and says, "Ye Wangyi, where are you? I came here for you." Hearing Feng's words, Ye Wangyi is at first very happy. Finally, he recognized me. Why is he talking as if I have left him before? But Feng doesn't know where his Ye Wangyi is. Then he thinks about the day he met the real world's Ye Wangyi. They were both in college, where Ye Wangyi used to watch him secretly because Feng was very popular in college, and Feng also knew that Ye Wangyi watched him every day. And then they both get into a love relationship. First, Feng expresses his feelings, then Ye Wangyi also expresses her feelings to him. And in this way, they move their relationship forward. Then one day, they have a fight over something, so Ye Wangyi gets in the car and leaves. Feng doesn't even see her, and then Ye Wangyi has an accident. In the present, thinking about these things, Feng cries a lot. When Ye Wangyi also sees this, she is also crying a lot. Then a path opens, and Ye Wangyi comes again, seeing which Feng is very happy and says, "You've come," and kisses her, and they both come home. Ye Wangyi asks Feng, "Why were you acting as if you came into this world for me? Who are you? Whenever I think about you, my head hurts." Feng says, "If you don't remember anything, it's okay." Then he asks her to go to sleep. In the next scene, Cheng takes Lucy to the hospital to meet her mother. Lucy first goes inside, then as soon as she comes out, her mood is off because her mother is angry with her. To cheer her up, Cheng takes her to different places, which makes Lucy very happy. He takes her to the same place where they had met in childhood. Cheng says, "I love you" to Lucy, and kisses her. The next day, Mr. Jackson sends Ye Wangyi to a key man who has a locker, and in it is the evidence of Ye Wangyi's mother's murder. She takes the locker from that man and opens the locker with the password that Mr. Jackson had told her. Over here, someone clicks a photo. It was none other than Ye Wangyi's father's man. Then, as soon as she comes home and opens the file, she finds out that her mother's killer is none other than her father because Ye Wangyi's mother was very rich. After having her killed, Ye Wangyi's father had transferred all her property to his name. And now his eyes are on Ye Wangyi's company, which her grandfather had given to Ye Wangyi before he died. Ye Wangi says, I have to get my father arrested somehow, but before getting him arrested, I have to talk to Lucy about this because Mr. Jackson was saying that Lucy is also investigating this matter. Then Ye Wangi meets Lucy and tells her everything. Lucy says, my mother must also know about this matter. Ye Wangi says, okay, you ask her too. Take her to some safe place and Fong and I will go to the police station with evidence against Dad. On the other side, Lucy is very sad because her mother is missing from the hospital. She is nowhere to be seen. Chung tells her her mother had a miscarriage because that child was not her father's. Ye Wangi also hears all this and messages Fong, now we have to take some action as soon as possible because Lucy's mother's life is in danger. Ye Wangi goes with the police to get her dad arrested, where she also gives all the evidence to the policeman and gets her dad arrested. Coming home, she and Fong breathe a sigh of relief that finally Ye Wangi's mother's killer has also been caught. Now the novel's story will end soon, but they get the news that Ye Wangi's father has escaped from the police station. Fong takes the car and goes out to find Ye Wangi's father, who had escaped from the police station with the help of his bodyguards. On the way, as soon as Ye Wangi's father sees Feng's car, he stops his car and hides somewhere. Feng's cousin and Ye Wangi's father's bodyguards get into a fight. Feng's cousin beats them a lot and throws them far away, and they get very injured. As soon as Ye Wangi's father realizes that he is surrounded on all four sides, he sits down and says, I am very hungry. First, take me home and give me food. So Ye Wangi brings her father home and gives him food. As soon as Feng and his assistant go out of her house, Ye Wangi's father puts a knife to Ye Wangi's neck, saying, let me go. And in this way, he brings Ye Wangi out of the house where Feng and his assistant are standing. Seeing this, Feng says to Ye Wangi's father, let Ye Wangi go. Make me your hostage because if you hold Ye Wangi, the police will think you are just creating drama. This makes sense to Ye Wangi's father, and he lets Ye Wangi go and grabs Feng. Just then, Lucy also arrives there and says, where is my mother? Just then, her mother also arrives, whom Chung has brought. Seeing the opportunity, Feng overpowers Ye Wangi's father, and Lucy's mother also starts to speak. All the things, all the crimes that she knows about Ye Wangi's father. And then the police take Ye Wangi's father away. Now Lucy and Chung were also very happy. Ye Wangi and Feng were also very happy that finally, the novel has a happy ending. In this happiness, they come close to each other. Just then, Feng's locket comes into Ye Wangi's hand, and she faints. Finally, Ye Wangi opens her eyes in the real world. Then the doctor starts telling her how she had an accident and went into a coma, that is, into the world of the novel. All these things seemed like lies to Ye Wangi because she didn't feel like she had lived in the world of the novel. She didn't remember anything either, but later she lies and says, yes, I remember everything. Thanks for taking care of me. The doctors tell her to take care of herself and leave. After they leave, she feels as if she has been kidnapped and something bad is about to happen to her. So seeing the opportunity, she runs away. Then, as she comes outside, she sees her cousin, who is an actor and was playing the character of Chung in the novel. He comes running to Ye Wangi and asks her to go with him. Just then, the media also arrives there, who were mistaking them for a girlfriend and boyfriend. They both somehow manage to escape and come home. Ye Wangi asks, why did you bring me here? To which he says, my girlfriend wants to meet you. She is a very big writer. When Chung shows her the novel, Ye Wangi sees that it is the same novel of which she had been a part, and after reading the novel, Ye Wangi remembers everything, how she entered the novel world, how her accident happened, and how Feng came into the novel to help her, who was actually her boyfriend. She throws the novel and runs from there, saying, Feng, I recognize you. You are very good. You helped me a lot, and I have come to know that you love me a lot. And as soon as she returns to the hospital, the doctor gets angry with her for leaving without telling them. Then, hearing her emotional words, they agree to help her and tell her that Feng is completely fine and is still in the novel world because you took his locket and left. The doctor gives her the locket and tells her, go to the novel world. As soon as she enters the novel world, the story had changed. The previous story had ended. Now, a new story has started where Feng is standing very sad. Seeing Feng sad, his assistant thinks, why is the master always sad? Just then, Ye Wangi comes there with the locket. Feng sees her and thinks, this is not that Ye Wangi. But when Ye Wangi kisses Feng in her style, he understands that this is his Ye Wangi, and he becomes very, very happy. Then Ye Wangi and Feng open their eyes together. That is, they are now both in the real world. Seeing them, all the doctors also become very happy. Lucy and Chung are a couple, and they are a couple in the real world too. Then Fong and Yewangi also arrive because they were invited by Lucy, who was none other than the writer of this novel. Seeing all the characters in front of her, she is very happy and says, "Oh, now I understand how you are with each other in reality too." Lucy brings her 2 dogs, whose names are the same as Feng's, and Yewangi's assistants. The assistant's role was based on the names of these 2 dogs. Knowing this, both Feng and Yewangi started laughing. Then Feng asks Yewangi to go with him and takes her to a decorated place. Yewangi is very happy to see this, and in front of her is written, "Marry me." Feng says, "I know that we have had many problems in our past, but I assure you that our future will be very bright. So please, would you like to be my wife in real life too?" Yewangi agrees, and they both kiss each other.